So after making a video on how McLaren are incompetent when it comes to management and on my favorite team Ferrari and how they are stuck in the past refusing to move on, I thought, who can I rip on this week? And my dart landed on Red Bull, since don't worry guys, you have your issues too. And while I was compiling research on this team, thankfully as the F1 news cycle usually goes, my work was made easy with the main talking point that opened up itself. It has now been reported that Hadjar is set to be promoted to Red Bull for next year alongside Max, while either Yuki or Liam get the boot from the sport, since Lindblad is set to be promoted as well. It's like he never left. This has the community divided. You of course have the people who are keeping faith and believing this could be good for the team, and you of course have the people who have seen this story too many times and refuse to believe that something can change this time. And I gotta say, I don't blame either of y'all, because on one hand, it's a new regulation period next year, which means Hadjar likely won't have the same struggles as Yuki or Liam since everything is new. However, this is Red Bull we are talking about. You know, the team that killed Kvyat's career, nearly killed Gasly's, and did for a while kill Albon's career, killed Checo's career for a bit, and is now set to kill Yuki's career. Liam was only spared because he was thrown out after 2 races, which unbeknownst to us was the best possible option for him. But even then, he still hasn't looked the same since, so you could argue him as well. Basically, people are worried for Isaac since he looks utterly fantastic right now, and if a driver like him is going to be killed again, what does it say about the Red Bull team? Plus, there is Lindblad to consider as well, since while he is impressing in F2, it's also his first year in the series, so he could be getting rushed for no reason. And the crazy part is, this isn't even it, since there is still Max and how he can change the team in the near future, plus Laura Mekies' overall future at the team. Red Bull are completely in uncharted territory and they need to be cautious. So let us speculate their future, since without speculation, I'll be flipping burgers right now. So go join the Discord to cope with the rest of us, and subscribe if you're new if you hate energy drinks. So enough yapping, and let's get to quacking.
A good weather for a race, but especially for a talk.
Let's move up the ranks with the drivers. So we begin with Arvin Lindblad's place in the team, and all I could think about is, please, not you. Lindblad is a phenomenal driver. He is ultra quick and has clear pace to win titles. The only issue is he didn't win F3 and very likely not F2 because he does have a flaw in experience. While he is super quick, he does super struggle with basic things like racecraft. This season especially, he has been involved in many incidents with other drivers, and while some he was an innocent bystander in, there are plenty where he got into a crash that was avoidable or where he just kind of let it happen. This is perfectly okay though, since again, it's just an experience and nothing to sound the alarms over. That is if he wasn't being rushed into F1. Take Kimi Antonelli for example. Now, I think some people really exaggerate how quote-unquote bad he's been this year. However, it's still undeniable how he does have his flaws. He does involve himself in many incidents that are preventable, not to mention the occasional spin. Now, he does have blistering pace and consistency, yes. It's really just him needing to not make as many mistakes that's the issue, but it's a pretty damn big issue. I don't think it'll kill Kimi's career or anything. Rather, he's just in his Max 2015 phase. Can we say the same for Lindblad though? Now, I don't know if this is a hot take or something, but I don't think Lindblad is on the same level as Kimi or even Ollie. Rather, I think he'd be on the same level as a Bortoleto or a Hadjar, which as we know, is still very, very good. I'm essentially calling him an 8 to 9 out of 10 on the potential scale instead of 10 out of 10. So calm down your typing fingers, people. What I'm saying is, if Lindblad were to be in F1 next year, would he be incident prone? He already is in F2, and I don't think that just because the car changes next year, that would alleviate some of that flaw. And you could argue that it's okay since he'll be in a lower end car and the pressure would be off of him, but that kind of doesn't matter. He's still an F1 driver. He's gonna have mountains of pressure, especially if Yuki or Liam do get the boot. Plus guys, I don't know how many times I need to say this now, he has his incidents due to inexperience. Kimi would have 100% benefited from another year in F2, not to get faster, but to get cleaner, since even though he wasn't anywhere near as incident prone as Lindblad, he did have his spin and crash here and there, and we have now seen how that has evolved into something much larger. But for all this doom posting I'm doing, there are benefits to Lindblad. For example, he is super duper fast. He has potential out the wazoo, and with proper development under Mekies, maybe he could get cleaner while also getting faster. Racing Bulls is a team that is meant for juniors, which means he will get time to adjust there. They won't drop him after 1 year unless he performs especially bad like De Vries, but even then, that was harsh, and I'm pretty sure that won't happen again. So the verdict with Lindblad is, maybe it's a bit too rushed, but I trust that the team knows what they are doing. However, that trust is maybe a bit dodgy since now we have the main dish, the Hadjar rumors. Like I said previously, it has now been reported that Hadjar will be promoted to Red Bull for next year alongside Maxi Poo. Now I know what you might be thinking, but please, put back the black suit and dresses this since I don't think this is as bad as it sounds. Next year is 2026. Crazy, I know, but it's also a new regulation period. Teams may have some idea of how the cars work, but generally, they won't fully know until the first test in January. This means that the car maybe won't be so extreme as it was for Gasly, Albon, Checo, and Yuki/Liam. And even with Checo, 2022 is definitely his best year at the team since, while he did have his off moments, for the majority of it, he either had bad luck or is generally really good. It was only until 2023 and 24 that the team got the understandings and skewed the car to max and made it hard to drive. Plus, the cars have been so downforce heavy since 2017, which naturally makes the cars more trickier. Since they can go really fast, there are a lot of parts in them that can influence the car, which does make them more complicated. These new cars are going to be significantly less complicated, which means less area for failure with Isaac. Plus, the biggest factor of them all, we have Mekies around. He's a guy who actually understands the cars and is leading the team. Perhaps this is the change that Red Bull needed all along. So while looking at history makes us very pessimistic about the idea of Hadjar at Red Bull, this may not be so bad. That is, of course, if Isaac's performances this year are due to him or the car, because that car he's driving isn't that complicated. It's easy to drive for an F1 car according to many people in the paddock, so maybe by putting Isaac in a less easy car, it could impact him negatively and lead to another Red Bull sacrifice. Or maybe Isaac isn't fully developed yet and still needs a year or two to get fully comfortable being on the grid and potentially fighting for big results. There are still many factors that can ruin this move, but ultimately, we don't know. Next year is a new car, and there are simply many unknowns into this move. That's why I kind of welcome this move since Mekies is not Horner. He understands the cars, and if he sees Isaac is failing, perhaps he'll actually know how to fix it instead of shoving another driver in there. So despite Isaac not being used to a more complex car or him maybe not being fully ready yet, keep some optimism, people. We may be surprised with this move. Also, just as surprising, the potential of Liam or Yuki getting the boot entirely from the sport. I call this one surprisingly, because really, what have they done to get kicked out? Yes, Liam sucked ass in the car, but he has been good as of late at racing bulls and showing the talent we know he has. And while Yuki has really been sucking ass in the Red Bull car, those first two races showed us he had pace, real pace to be an F1 driver deservingly. Should they really be dropped out of this sport just because they are failing at one team? The only constant when it comes to this aren't the drivers, it's the team, and somehow the drivers still get the short end of the stick. When it comes to this portion, I have no argument for this move since again, while they are performing badly, the constant is the team, not them, and they shouldn't be thrown out because of it. You could compare it to Albon in 2020, but the thing is, he had only 1 year of experience at that point. Yuki is gonna have 5 for crying out loud, and he clearly improved throughout all that time. You can't cite 2021 and 2022 for being justification for his removal, when in 2023 and 2024 and the first 2 races of 25, he was a damn solid driver deserving of F1 machinery. And while Liam does have way less experience, he has raced in different series, nearly winning them along with performing well at racing bulls in 23, 24, and 25. Red Bull kills the confidence of these drivers, and a year off will only cement their careers in the gutter. You can cite Albon again since he came back in 2022 and has been great since then, but it was with Williams who gave him time to breathe and get back up to form. I highly doubt Red Bull are gonna do that again, so I have zero argument for this move happening, and I would be very surprised if anybody in the comments could enlighten me on this, since this is, quite frankly, a little bit ridiculous. But now I want to quickly discuss Max and how he could fit into all of this, because make no mistake, Max is just as big as a factor as everybody else mentioned previously. Like I've been saying, Red Bull are in uncharted territory and are completely in the unknown. Their best asset, Max Verstappen, is really the only thing keeping them afloat, but even then, he is not safe. Of course, there were the Mercedes rumors and how he could leave for that, but I don't think that'll ever happen, guys. It's clear Toto intends to have George and Kimi stay, so just get rid of that thought. However, there is still the option of retirement for Max. Max every month basically is saying how he intends to retire fairly early since he wants to explore other racing options and build his legacy over there as well. Now personally, I am still of the belief that he will retire this year, but I digress. Red Bull cannot count on Max for much longer since something tells me that once his long contract with them runs out, he will not resign and will leave the sport potentially forever. That could happen in 2028, so basically from now until then, they need to change things soon. Max is a great driver. I'm sure he could adapt to a car that is more balanced or set up for somebody else, as long as it's not the complete opposite of what he likes. Max will not always be here to pick the team up or give them a once-thought impossible result, and Red Bull need to start taking action now, because one could only imagine having a team with 2 drivers in a car that gives a low confidence would go until they could steer the team back the other way for them. That would be a very hard thing to do, but like I've alluded to in this video, their new team principal Laura Mekies is perhaps what the team needs the most right now. Laura Mekies was an engineer first and most notably Ferrari technical director before becoming the TP at Racing Bulls and now Red Bull. Basically, this guy knows cars, and in a team where the car is known to be, for lack of a better term, rapidly shit, I think Mekies can provide good insight into the team. The rest of the team seems to think so as well, since Max and Helmut Marko have gone on record to say that his insight is very beneficial to the team, and if the Mekies effect has already taken place, then given Monza, maybe this is exactly what the team needs. Plus, Yuki in that car has looked more comfortable as of late, but still clearly struggles with confidence. So I think Mekies could have a great future at Red Bull, especially under this new regulation period, where the team is going to need more mechanical insight than ever. Take that, Horner. Everybody hated you. What a surprise. The only issue arising with Mekies I could see is maybe leadership and business decisions, since he is also the CEO, but for that, we will need to wait, since that will take longer for it to show itself. So what the hell do we do now? I'm going to pretend that I, Formula Duck, self-proclaimed genius in wheel knowledge, am leading Red Bull and need to decide how the team is going to move for 2026. Our options are Lindblad, who despite maybe being rushed into the sport, still is showing promise and could surprise like the other quote-unquote rushed talents like Gabby or Isaac. Hadjar going to Red Bull, which may be better than expected, but it's at the cost of either Yuki or Liam being kicked out of the sport. So assuming Max is here for 2026, I say keep everything how it is. Give Lindblad another year in F2, since while he could surprise, he could also be very shit, and it's probably safe to give him another year given how Kimi is doing. Keep Hadjar at Racing Bulls to further hone his ability, so when he is called up, he is fully ready and not just thrown in after some good performances. Keep Liam alongside so he can pick himself back up fully and get better at not crashing with people while still staying mighty aggressive. Think somebody like Piastri. And finally, keep Yuki at Red Bull, because despite doing bad and maybe until Abu Dhabi, if you kick him out now, he may never be the good driver he once was again. Plus, let's see how he fares in 2026 cars first before getting rid of him potentially, since at that point, there won't be a regulation change for a while. So please, Red Bull, stop acting on impulse for once and just trust people to get better. Have some patience. It may benefit you for once in the long run. So those are my thoughts on Red Bull. It is tense times ahead for you guys, and I wish I could troll, but knowing my team, I'll be occupied in agony. But at least we all relate to each other. McLaren has piss poor management, Ferrari has an identity crisis, Red Bull are completely in the unknown, and don't think I forgot about y'all Mercedes fans. You guys are next. Anyways, I want to give a quick shout out to all members of the flock for their continued support, and make sure to join if you want cool benefits as well as just helping me out. Anyways, if you enjoyed today's video, make sure to leave a like and subscribe since it helps me out. Make sure to let me know in the comments what you think of this, and as always, have an amazing day.
Good weather for the duck.